This video is going to sound like a rant. And in truth, I don't really know what my point is. So maybe just skip this one. But yesterday, I attended a author launch event. This event was actually occurring at a place that I'm hoping to maybe hold mine in the coming months when my book gets released. And the event was basically hosted by a fellow writer here in the state who had just released their first book. This writer, they were published through a small press, and I don't think being hyperbolic when I say this author is immensely talented. Truly, I think they are perhaps one of the best authors probably I've ever personally met or worked with. Potentially maybe the second best one of the people I've had a chance to at least work with here locally. I'm not talking about like professors or people who have taught me, but just people, peers, if you will, that I've actually worked one-to-one with. Arguably the second best person, and that is actually saying quite a bit. Their work is excellent and very, very talented. And they spent about a good 7 years writing this book. I've thought about linking the book on the channel here. I might do it, but basically I haven't really run this little anecdote here by them at all, and so I'd rather not start any drama, I guess. But my point is, immensely talented writer, and their new book is excellent. But there was something that bothered me the entire time, and it's an idea that I've had for a very long time, and I've not been able to really ever form like a coherent, linear way of explaining it. But at the event, it was attended by 8 people. 8 people showed up, and of the 8, 3 of them, including myself, were actually fellow peers, fellow authors that had known her socially through the writing realm. The other 5 were just friends or family members of this individual. And it seems to have bothered me to no end to see how talented someone can be, and yet to see how little they have in support. How few people would actually come out to see something that they constructed 7 years on, right? They spent 7 years creating this beautiful, beautiful novel, and yet it's nothing, right? Like there's nothing in terms of support there, right? You have the bare minimum. And I myself have not seen this individual in almost 3.5 years. The last time I saw them was in 2019, early 2020. That's it. So the other 2 writers have known her, I guess, a bit longer, or known her at least a bit more consistently since the post pandemic and all that stuff. Simply, I have not, and yet I knew this individual's circle of writers was pretty vast. He was pretty well connected to the local writing scene here, and it could not believe that nobody came out for this person's event. I expected myself to sort of be the outlier. I expected them to all see me and go, "Oh wow, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. You've been sort of doing your own thing." But very much the opposite. I seem to have been probably one of her few supporters here, which I'm obviously happy to do. But I couldn't believe it, and it stuck with me, this idea, and again, I can't really explain it any other way than this, that this process is never going to be a meritocracy. It is not going to be the best writer gets the most recognition. The strongest artist gets the most renown for their work. It does not work that way. In fact, it seems that those that are really good at marketing themselves and promoting themselves really well are often some of the more mediocre talents in it seems like in most fields. Again, this is a generality, obviously, but certainly from what I've seen, it does appear that you have sort of a trade-off here. You can either be well marketed and well known and well represented, or you can be really really talented and not care at all about that kind of stuff. And it's very very few people I've seen that can kind of get the in between there. But it amazed me. This person here should have had dozens and dozens and dozens of people. Just going by author events I've seen for other people before who were far less talented than this individual was. It just amazed me. And so the point I guess I'm trying to get out there is that you could be very talented, but you may not get the recognition for it. It's an important lesson to learn. It's something that again, you can tell by the way I'm sort of ranting about this. It's something that I don't agree with and something that I find to be very, very frustrating. Because we want it to be that meritocracy. We want it to be a situation where the best writer gets the most recognition. The strongest writer with the most beautiful prose and the most evocative language gets all of the the accolades. But it doesn't work that way, and it's immensely important, I think, at the start to understand that. Because for a very long time, I often told myself that, eventually you're going to get the recognition. Eventually you will get that recognition once you're more skilled, once you're better, once you're a stronger writer, you'll get that recognition. And it's something that I've had to remind myself that maybe it doesn't come. There may not be a day when that recognition comes, that you don't get those big events, you don't get that renown that maybe your skill warrants. And there's an element of need to be okay with that. That you need to be okay with your work, that you are the only judge of your work ultimately, and that if you're okay with it and you're satisfied with it, then be happy with that. That's what you have to take your happiness from. Other people enjoying your work is simply a bonus. But yeah, man, it's not, yeah, it's annoying. It is very annoying. And so I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna sign off here. I don't know how I was gonna end this at all. So with that, I'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, until then, happy writing, everybody.